Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Sam.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy 2020. I was going to say 2019. I've said 2019 like the last time. Happy 2020.
Yep, that's all you have for the intro?
That's all I got for the
intro.
intro.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you guys had a safe New Year's.
Yeah. As possible.
Yeah.
But happy 2020.
Happy 2020. Great year.
2020 vision. Happy 2020.
All right, that's enough.
Happy 2020.
I'm ending this intro as quickly
Happy
as possible.
2020.
So welcome back to episode 33, the first of 2020. My name is Sam. This is Jacob, and we are the Regular Size Man podcast.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, my friend.
I was asking a listener, but how are you doing, Sam?
Oh, never mind. You don't get to hear.
I was just asking the listener, but I can ask you now. How are you doing? Well,
the listener can't respond. This is a one-way communication in the form of a podcast.
Maybe they're... All right, fair.
All right, fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I was asking the listener.
All right.
Hang on. How are you doing, listener?
Now we're like a fool.
Yeah, we are fools. All right, how you doing, listener?
That's awesome. Good.
Yeah, great. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. How's your 2020 been?
Yeah, not bad so far. I mean, 7 days. I still don't really know what I'm doing.
Likewise.
Yeah, but that's okay. I feel like I'm getting there. I've started gaining a better appreciation for movies and TV shows the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying like watching a lot of shows and, reading. I started reading as well. That's fun. Don't know why, but started watching TV shows a lot more.
Okay.
Watching movies more. I'm just really appreciating media as a form, as weird as that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's cool. How about you?
I'm not reading, that's for sure.
I'm not reading much.
I'm not reading at all, to be honest with you. But yeah, I am doing all right. I have finally got past that point of when Christmas comes and then before New Year's, where New Year's is coming, so obviously something big is going on, but you don't know what day it is that whole time.
Yeah, it's just kind of that whole blur. Yeah,
I finally reached that point where I know what day it is, and I'm back into the swing of things. So that's good. That's definitely good.
That's okay.
Yeah, it means I can stop spending money, which is awesome because now I know that payday is tomorrow. But yeah, no, it's awesome, and I'm keen on a really, really exciting 2020 for both the podcast and our own lives.
Yes. Oh, you couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting into the first episode of you wrote first of 2019 here.
See, I told you. I still think it's 2019, man. That's my head.
Getting into the first ever box office update of the year, Frozen 2 has become the highest grossing animated film of all time, so topping Toy Story 4 with 1.325 billion globally. That's a great feat.
Yeah. It's been a month, has it?
About a month,
yeah. It's about a month. I think it came out end of November, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So a little bit.
Because I remember this movie, it didn't really have a lot of advertising, didn't really have a lot of anything that we saw anyway, and it kind of just came out and then got 400 million in the first week, and we were like, oh yeah, cool, nice.
That was, we were like, oh yeah, that's here.
Yeah, cool. So good on Frozen 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not really surprised, but good on them.
No, not at all.
One that has surprised us, Rise of Skywalker is nearing 1 billion globally without a China release.
Yeah.
Do you know why it was never released in China?
Well, I know that China didn't get the original movies to begin with. So, they weren't... Or at least they didn't get it when it came out with the rest of the world. Okay. So, the whole China hype wasn't really, it didn't really exist.
Yeah.
You know? And then I don't think this one got released in China because of the female kiss. The gay kiss.
Because that did get pulled in Singapore. That's a fun fact.
Yeah,
they did pull that in Singapore.
Yeah, so I don't look. I could be wrong. I might have been released in China, but I'm pretty sure it didn't get released in China because of that.
Okay,
or at all. Anyway,
well, we're going to be looking into Rise of Skywalker a bit later because there's a lot of controversy surrounding the movie that has come out in the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm,
and Disney, I don't know, it's just a lot's happened. We're not going to get into it now because we'll make you listen to the rest of the episode first.
Of course.
Just, get that watch
Get a bit
time.
of a tease, man.
And we've got good stuff to talk about first. And we don't want to, get straight into the juicy stuff.
Of course.
Firstly, we got a couple of trailers. So trailer talk this week. We have A Quiet Place Part 2. I haven't seen Part 1 myself. You did, and you loved it.
Oh, man, I love it. Yeah, and it just dropped on Netflix as well, so it's a perfect excuse for you to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Definitely. So while you watch that, I'll watch Interstellar.
I like that trade-off.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love the first one. It's just awesome, man. I love a lot of things John Krasinski does, but he's a bit of a man crush. But this movie is awesome. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, you guys you've really, really, really got to see it. It's just amazing. And I think, what were your thoughts on without obviously seeing the first one, what were your thoughts on the trailer?
It does look like a unique concept. It really looks like a good thriller. It really it kept me on the edge of my seat purely just in the trailer, and I think that heading to like the movie, I think that I'll probably like do the same. But it makes me really want to watch the first one. So
yeah. Well, it can't. For me, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the second one gave up a lot of the Last of Us vibes. I think with the whole the landscape and all that kind of, and the background of that. The first one isn't really much like The Last of Us at all. It doesn't really share any parallels to it, apart from it being a dystopian future with like an alien sort of creature, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I think it looks really, really good. I'm excited to see where they take this one and kind of expand the universe, because the first one is very closed off in a sense that it's mostly just the family. But yeah, I can't wait for this one. Interesting that the first trailer has come out. It comes out in March, so first trailer came out 3 months away from when the movie actually comes out. Interesting.
I mean, it's not as big, like it's not a huge movie like...
That is true.
Yeah, so they don't need to build months and months of hype.
But still, I feel, you know what I mean? I feel like I thought maybe they would, you know, come out a little bit earlier.
I feel like the risk with releasing a trailer too early is that the hype dies down too much. I feel like 3 months, it still keeps that hype. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And a lot of the people who are going to be watching these trailers online are people who, you know, are going to stay in the loop with all this new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if it was like 5 or 6 months away, at times the hype can die off if it's not a big movie that
if it's not a Marvel movie, pretty much.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, okay,
I wasn't going to say it, but you know,
no, I get that.
Pretty much.
But speaking of Marvel movies, the New Mutants trailer did also come out this morning or yesterday?
Yesterday. Oh no, this morning. Like it was overnight.
That's right, overnight for us. But yeah, what did you think of it? Because
it looks interesting.
Yeah,
it looks like a horror movie. Like that's the vibes I got watching the trailer. Apparently it's not. Apparently it's just, you know, these people set in a hospital and they all are discovering their mutant powers. That's the synopsis. Not the synopsis, the description of the movie. It's
probably the first comic book related movie in any form that I've watched a trailer not knowing much at all. Which is interesting because there's been so much reported about this movie for years. Like it
was meant to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then when obviously Fox got bought out by Disney, the whole question was, is this movie even going to come out? Mm-hmm. So it was a bit of only days ago it was confirmed that it was coming out, and that's why the trailer has dropped. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's the first time I have not known anything about it, and I don't know what to think of the trailer.
Well, ironically, the film was meant to come out 2 years ago, and the movie is still not yet rated, and that was the biggest surprise to me out of the whole thing. I don't know how they've done that, but that's an ad. Sorry, I'm getting nothing up. Don't worry.
Do you think it looks good?
I think it's a movie I'll see.
Yeah, but how excited are you?
I'm not that. It's just a movie I'm going to see because we do this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I think nowadays I'm categorizing movies, especially heading into this new year, as movies I'll see because I'm excited for them, and movies I'll see because I do a podcast and we're going to do a review on them. Or just movies but we just don't care about, i.e. cats. So, you know, it's in the category of I'm going to see this movie just to give a review. More than I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think that like like the whole I think the universe outside the actual X-Men themselves, I don't know a lot about the mutants, but so for me this movie I would be going in very blind to see.
Yeah.
I'm still somewhat excited because it's at the end of the day it's a comic book movie, so that's always there. And plus they've got a few notable cast members. They've got I don't know their names, but they've got the dude from Stranger Things.
Yep.
And they've also got the blonde girl. She was in Split, and she's pretty good in that too. So I'm excited to see what they do and how it turns out. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's honestly a movie that like, and obviously they're using the comic book characters, but like, if it came out without a Marvel stamp on it, it would like, you know what I mean? It'd just be just another movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's still going to be the case now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's a movie that you could have put it, like if you released this trailer today and it wasn't Marvel related, I couldn't tell the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be rated MA, I'd say. Whether that's MA America and M us, because we, Australia, are a lot more loose with that kind of stuff.
Not with games.
Not with games, just with movies. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to go with I think it'll be an MA release.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. We have some fun things.
The return of our favourite segment.
Rumor
mill. Return of our
just so I can do that
segment.
buzzer sound every week. Gets me going through it. Alrighty, so do you want to read this first one or do you want me to read this first one? Because I'll read the second one to you, so you can...
I'll read the first one then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
All right, we'll go with that. Okay, so rumor has it that the WandaVision might be introducing Doctor Doom's home country of Latveria in some fashion. With all the speculations about how Doctor Doom would be introduced, is this how you want to see it, Sam?
Well, I mean, there's always been a lot of speculations about how, how it comes about, yeah? But it really depends on how they do it in this one. Because when they did Zemo was a part of...
Wanda and Pietro's...
Well, what's the thing? The Sokovia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was from Sokovia.
That's where I was going with that, yeah.
He was part of Sokovia, and that's how he became a bad guy because of what happened there. Because my interpretation of how this would go down, or how I'd like it to go down anyway, is like Wanda is there, or Vision, and they're like doing some superhero shit, and then Doctor Doom's mum is like, Victor, look, it is the superheroes, and then something goes terribly wrong, and he becomes Doctor Doom because of that. Like, that's how I'm picturing this in my head, that it would happen. Probably won't, but, I'm picturing that.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feels too close to Zemo. If they went with this whole...
See, I don't think they would... the rumor is just that it's his home country. So I would imagine there'd be
his hometown.
That's a country. Latveria is a country.
Yeah, but they have the town.
Sorry, you are right, yeah. So, I would imagine that at the very least he's going to be teased in it. So, you can expect that. But I don't think it would be a full-fledged... This is Doctor Doom and his origin.
No, definitely not.
I would have thought that maybe it's Wanda's fled to the country or something like that, and then you've got Easter eggs within the scenes and all that Doctor Doom is there. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's just, I don't know, man. With all these Marvel rumors, I'm always just like, I'm kind of skeptical, but it's Marvel, so I know they'll do well. But I don't know. I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm opening to see Doctor Doom would be a good iteration. So I feel like, this could be a cool way to show it.
Yeah.
So the Obi-Wan series is apparently set to hit Disney Plus in 2021 sometime, and it's currently rumored to be a 6-episode series set 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. So is this Disney's way of milking the Star Wars franchise for a bit of money, or do you think this will be well received and well put out, well produced?
Okay, well, I definitely reckon it's a combination of the two. Because I think that Disney are going to and are just milking Star Wars for every single thing that they can do. But I also think that this is probably the one thing that it will make them a shit ton of money. Because I think everybody wants this. I think everybody wants to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He was definitely the best part of the prequels. So I think that, I think this is definitely well wanted. And I can't wait for this series. This is going to be the one thing that I hope is amazing. If it's anything less than amazing, I'm going to be bitterly disappointed. So yeah, I think it's going to be received quite well. I'd imagine it'll be good. I think the showrunner directed a couple of Mandalorian episodes. I'm not too sure which ones, but she did direct a couple of them. So that is good signs. I just finished the Mandalorian first season, and that's quite good. So I've got the highest hope that this will be good. But yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens when it comes out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Mandalorian's obviously shown that they can produce good shows in the Star Wars universe. So maybe this is hope. There's hope. Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic.
There's hope in the galaxy.
Force is strong with that one. Alrighty. It's buffering. How can you buffer a 3-second video?
Every week, man. I'm starting to think it's your internet.
Shh. All right.
Okay. The Austin Powers director has said that he is open to doing a 4th movie, assuming that what's his name, Mike Myers will be returning. Sam, do you want to see the Smooth Criminal make a return to the big screen?
I do. So, to add on to this rumor, he did also say that it's up to Mike Myers because he wrote the first 3 movies.
He did, yeah.
So it's whether he wants to write and reappear in a 4th one.
Surely he would.
Yeah, I would love to see him. I think that, Austin Powers is just a timeless classic. However, I don't know how he could write it in today's, world. It might be a little harder.
It's a good point. But he's not doing much.
I know,
but
if he writes a very controversial movie, it could ruin the franchise as a whole. And also, I feel like some of the jokes were good because it was the time. There's a lot of jokes that are just... I feel like they might be overused or something. I don't know. I'm being negative.
No, I could actually understand that. I could see it being kind of like a rehash of everything, which is what I wouldn't want either. No. Who do you think would be the love interest? Because you've had Beyonce, you had Elizabeth Hurley, and the other girl, I think maybe it's Alicia Silverstone. I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who do you think would be the modern day one? I don't know.
Oh,
it'd have to be someone obviously relatively young, but still has a name for herself in Hollywood.
Jennifer Aniston. That's my first thought because I know she's older.
I would probably go Jennifer Lawrence before I'd go Jennifer Aniston because I think that they need to be younger and look younger. Don't get me wrong, Jen Aniston's she's Jennifer Aniston. But
look at that smirk on your face.
but you know she's like
Yeah, I know what you mean. But also gotta remember Michael Myers is not.
No, I know.
Not a spring chicken himself.
No. Okay, fair. But he was quite old when they did the Austin Powers movies. Anyway,
this is true.
Like he was. I reckon he would have been at least 10 years older than those actresses that were in it, except maybe Liz Hurley. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get the point. I get what you're putting down.
Yeah. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
That's the
saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I love the Austin Powers movies, so I'm definitely not opposed to this at all.
Yes, fantastic. Alrighty. And Christian Bale is reportedly in talks to appear in Thor: Love and Thunder. So what role do you think he's going to play? What capacity do you think he'll be in this movie?
All right. Well, if you've seen our Instagram post at TRSM Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram,
yes, nice.
We have actually said that we think it might be Beta Ray Bill, and I'm going to stand and stick by that.
Beta Ray Bale.
Beta Ray Bale. I like that.
Thank you.
Like that.
I
Yeah.
did put that in the post.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
I read the post. Did you say Beta Ray Bale?
May have put it on the story. Hang on, I gotta look now.
Did you actually?
Yeah, in the post. I swear I did. Is Beta Ray Bale possible?
Oh,
I did put it in
okay.
the post.
My brain just read it as Bill. I would love to see that, man. Like, I think he'll do a voice of Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of silly, but hearing his Dark Knight voice, I think if he wasn't so rough with it, but still deep, I think he'd be an awesome Beta Ray Bill. Yeah, and I think it would actually suit it and go well.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be awesome with it. Yeah.
I think he's got a I mean, obviously he did the Dark Knight, and so he's got a well-known idea of how it is to play a darker character.
Of course, yeah.
Obviously, the Marvel and the MCU is probably more upbeat, and this movie, Thor: Love and Thunder, assuming it's like Ragnarok, will be a more upbeat and funny, witty movie. But him as a villain, I can see him being able to be a dark villain, but also the question is whether he can maintain it to be also humorous at times. Because I'm assuming he will have to be funny.
I could also see him as the last of his race,
right?
Because I forgot what race it is. It's Corbinite, I think it is. But I could see him being the last of his race, and he's the only one left. But I could also not even be seeing him as a villain. I could see him more as joining the gang at some point throughout the movie. Maybe they clash at first, but then he joins them. But yeah, either way, man, I think he'd be awesome in this movie, and I think Beta Ray Bill's probably the role I'd like to see him play. All
right, fantastic. Moving on. So, Big Kev came out in an article today talking about the future of the MCU. I forgot where he was, but he was at a place. And either way...
He was in a house. He was in a room. He was in a room with,
talking
with
to an
people
audience.
There that were able to report on it.
And anyway, a young lady stood up and she asked him about representation in the MCU, about LGBT, all that. And he basically said that there is a movie being worked on at the moment that features a transgender character. Now... apparently sooner rather than later. So we wanted to discuss who this could be. Yep.
What it could mean, anything,
what capacity this is going to be.
Yeah.
Because I would like to just go. The way I would like this to happen is that they don't they just go in with they don't. How do I explain this? It's just they don't make a big deal out of it. They just
You would like it just to be there, but it's not a defining thing that makes that character. You don't want it to be a reoccurring thing that happens every episode. They've been through such hardship because they're transgender. Every episode.
I'll take the Batwoman trailer. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This is probably the best way.
That was in my head too.
In the Batwoman trailer, she mentions that she's a woman about 17 times. Maybe a little bit exaggerated, but give or take, there's a lot of times that she mentions that she's a woman, and it's okay.
You don't have to shoehorn it into every single meaningful moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I would rather see this character just kick ass and then have it come out that they're transgender later on.
Or
even just
or maybe they were empowered through so obviously a lot of today's society, transgender by some people's measure isn't accepted. As much. So maybe if that was part of their backstory as to why they were okay, I need to become a superhero or fight for those rights and things like that, that's okay. I would definitely be on board with that, but not, as we said, everything that happens with Batwoman. Is that what you're going with that? Or
I feel like Batwoman just overdid it unnecessarily. I don't want that. for me, when I watched Batwoman, and even when we watched the first episode, I felt like the primary objective was to promote. Oh, that's my dog. Sorry.
Oh.
I was like, who's yelling? The primary objective was to promote being a woman, and the second was to put it over the top of Batman.
Yep.
Whereas I'd rather it to be reversed, and they just focus on making a good movie.
That character,
that features a character that is transgender.
Yep. Yeah, I
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a kind of a given for most Marvel or superhero fans. But it's just more how they approach it. And I think I do have faith in Kevin Feige to
deliver that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the way that they're slowly starting to introduce these characters, they only had a small factor in Endgame where they just mentioned a guy who was gay, and that it was just in a conversation as if it was normal. And I enjoyed that, or I liked the way that they did it because they didn't make a big point of it. They just
it was there because that's society. Yes,
yeah. And that's what I want them to do with this.
Look at
movie.
us on the same wavelength right there, man.
Mate, just fucking we're linking up there. But yeah, I want it to be it's a normal part of society. And I think that they will do that, but that's my only concern. Not concern. Concern's not the right word, but my only
hesitance, trepidation.
Okay, it's my concern with the movie, not with the character.
Yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just apologies. I definitely tried. I definitely accidentally cut you off a couple times.
No,
there.
it's fine. I went on a rant there.
Who do you I completely agree with you, so I don't really have much else to say that differs from that. But who do you think, just spitballing, who do you think that character could be?
I think we agree on this. This was first, like you said, this first was Moon Knight. Because if we look at the grand scale of things, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here.
No. Oh, actually, can I just say one thing before we go on that? So I don't know if you're going to get to this. I just wanted to add it in. Because Moon Knight is a schizophrenic character, my thought behind thinking that was transgender is they're going to change it from schizophrenic to more, not multiple personalities, but trapped in a body that you don't believe is yours. If that like a lot of transgender people. I wasn't going to get to that at all. Okay, well, like a lot of transgender people, I think I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone by saying this, but how a lot of transgender people might feel that this isn't their body. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that was my thinking behind why I picked Moon Knight. But continue.
Right. Well, mine was just because I was looking at the grand scheme of characters. Unless that, we also did have Kevin Feige. He did also say that they're going to introduce a lot of characters in the Multiverse of Madness, the new Doctor Strange movie. And I don't think they'll do it there. I think they'll do it in a bigger movie such as Moon Knight. But looking at the Disney Plus shows we have coming, we have WandaVision, which are already a lot of the shows that are coming out already have pre-existing characters. So the new properties that are coming out, which are Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, I feel like She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel are a little too controversial. She-Hulk because, people will...
It would be the mistake to do that.
It'd be the mistake, be a mistake, because the Hulk is obviously, normal...
You're differing it from She-Hulk. You're making a She-Hulk to differ from the male Hulk, for a reason. Yeah. It would be very much undermine the character if you made it transgender. Yeah.
Not even that, but even viewing the Incredible Hulk, he's a big green, ugly, monster that kills things. And putting a transgender with that label is the first character to introduce. It's not, it's not smart. And I feel like Miss Marvel, as she is young, it also would be a bit risky to do that as well. And
plus as well, she'll be also the first Muslim Pakistani.
Yeah, and that's their form of diversity in that. And we are all for diversity in the MCU and any movie properties we have. But I think that that will be theirs because Disney do not like to go too out of the box, as we will discuss soon. Star Wars, which is coming. But I think Moon Knight's probably the best. Obviously Moon Knight isn't a well-known character either. I feel like they have the room to wiggle with how they portray the character in the MCU, unless they do I don't think Multiverse of Madness will have enough time to introduce a transgender character unless they reveal a character and then it's revealed in a solo movie down the line that they are transgender.
Yeah.
That could also be cool. I'd be down for that.
Because I think that because as we said, because Big Kev has actually said these things, my assumption, I think both of our assumptions is that this transgender character will be someone of importance. It won't just be someone in the movie for part of it.
Or like a Quicksilver dies in the movie.
Exactly. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be one of the main heroes or the main villains, but someone of note at the very least. So yeah, like in saying that, like I mean, I've even like he said he is. I don't think he said the exact words sooner rather than later, but I do think it will be sooner.
It's a movie that they're currently developing or filming.
So I think Eternals is probably a good way to do it. As I think we both mentioned that earlier in the week to ourselves as well. But I mean, I can't say much about that because I don't know the characters of the Eternals very well. So
neither
it
do
wouldn't
I.
be. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be
guess.
right.
Yeah. So I think three options that we've kind of nailed it down to is Eternals, Moon Knight, or Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, because I think they've all got such. They can all go in so many different directions. I think that's probably why those would be the best and the most safe guesses to bring this character in. Yeah. But yeah, I'm all for it. I don't care.
I mean, I will say though, I feel like the Eternals is, out of those three, the Eternals will be the one that they do. Because I say this because I don't know if the Eternals will get a second or third movie. You know what I mean? And I think that what they'll do is they'll experiment and see how it's received. Because it's Disney, and I feel like Disney will come in here and say, look, we're for this, but do this first.
Because I get that.
Yeah, this is me being like Disney assholes type of thing.
Yeah. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I personally think that Eternals will get another movie in some form, or they'll be in another movie, because I find it very hard to believe that Big Kev is like, let's go 10,000, 30,000 years back from the current date of the MCU and not have them play a large role in the future.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get 100% what you're saying, and I think that's very plausible as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's interesting to see. Yeah, I think...
It definitely is interesting. I mean, it's going to be awesome to see who that character is, because I think, I would love it to be Moon Knight, I think, for the story as well. I think that would be an awesome...
Yeah, but he did say movie, which is why Eternals is also. Yeah. We'll see in time. We'll see. Yeah, interesting debate. Like, it's an interesting thing. We'll see what happens over soon.
Very much so.
Moving on, Netflix. Jacob wanted to talk about Netflix.
I did.
So
I'm gonna get it up.
Yeah. Whilst you get this up, I'll explain a bit of the backstory. So a couple years ago, Netflix did release a thing saying that by 2020, 2021, they wanted 50% of their range or their titles to all be like 50% of them. And 50% like added like sourced media, such as like, Hollywood movies and TV shows and such. However, recently what they've done is they've placed a lot of source media, a lot more onto Australian Netflix anyway. I'm assuming they've done it worldwide as well, but they've actually been putting a lot more and a lot of good titles on Netflix still. And I think part of this is due to the streaming war that's going on at the moment, due to a lot of other platforms really providing good shows and good movies and stuff. So Jacob did want to discuss this. I don't know in what capacity you wanted to talk about this, but you wanted to talk about this. So.
Yeah, look, I don't know what capacity I would like to talk about it in either. I just figured we'd see where it goes. I just wanted to make a note of it because we gave Netflix a bit of shit a few weeks ago when we talked about streaming wars. I think it was episode 24.
We did actually.
Because I'm going to be honest, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I felt like for a while they kind of were lacking a little bit. Stan in Australia picked up their game a lot. I felt like Disney Plus had a pretty strong debut, and despite Mandalorian finishing, I think it's still a decent streaming service. Apple TV, while they have only a few titles, they're quite good titles. So I thought Netflix was kind of a bit average. I felt like I think they had a few good originals, but I think for the majority of the time, a lot of the stuff they were getting in just was extremely average to watch. So I just wanted to make a note that like they recently in this past week, I think more than any other time, they did get quite a few good titles. So they did get A Quiet Place, which, as we did mention, Sam's going to watch, and same thing with Interstellar, that I'm going to watch that one. They got Shazam from DC, which is, I as you guys know, I love that movie. They have this series called Messiah, which I think is like a spoof on Jesus that came under a lot of slack. I'm going to watch that, and apparently it's not that bad.
Okay.
So there's stuff like that. The Witcher, obviously Sam's nearly done that one. They got that one.
Yes.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, which was surprising to me.
That was very surprising. That was shocking.
I think it means it won't be going to Disney Plus soon.
No.
But that's awesome. They obviously have Six Underground, and while that may not be the greatest movie, it's alright. I've heard it's not. It's average.
Either way, they've got Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds,
and they've also had The Irishman.
The Irishman too. The Don't Fuck with Cats: Hunting an Internet Killer is apparently very good.
My sister watched that. She said it's very, very good. It's very like in your face.
Yeah, I haven't watched that, but apparently it's very good. They got Rick and Morty season 4, which is an awesome get. And now going on to You, they got You season 2.
They got me.
They did get You. No, but I love you. See, I loved you season
Love you
1.
too. Sorry, okay, I'm done.
No, I loved you season 1, and you season 2 picks up and is possibly even better than the first. So like,
Yeah.
as much as we gave it a lot of shit like 2 months ago, they did pick up their game, and I'm excited to see what they have for the future.
Yeah, I think Netflix, I mean, as we discussed on our Streaming Wars episode, Netflix are really good at creating worlds. They're really good at creating a story and engrossing you in those stories.
Yeah.
However, their movies were where they slacked off. And I think that what they've done is they've brought on a lot more movies because they've realized that their movies are not that good.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've really picked up the game with that.
Yeah, I mean, so much to the point where we've got that Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie coming out, I think, this year. I think it's filming now. You've also got was it the Game of Thrones directors that made the deal with Netflix to develop something?
Yeah, I think so.
Big directors made a deal with Netflix. So like, there's stuff like that gives a lot of hope for Netflix as well.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be something of note. That's all.
Yeah, I think Netflix. We want to apologize for slandering you. You guys have picked up the game.
You came back and actually did pretty well.
Yeah,
there, so.
They listened to the podcast clearly.
I think they did.
Yeah, they must have. They heard us. But you know, it's good to see the streaming like services putting out. Like, obviously, we are all for the original content, but at the same time, we do also enjoy the fact that we want pre-existing movies.
You've got to have a good range of titles that people love and people know. I mean, they got the Ghostbusters as well. I forgot that as well. Like, they got the whole Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park movies. Like, it's little things like that it's like, even though I may not necessarily want to watch them or will watch them.
One day I will.
Like, it's the fact that those are the ones that are in there is still a very good sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. But shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to the
meat and potatoes of today's podcast. So a lot has come out about the rise of Skywalker over the past week.
Yep.
It didn't do as well in the box office as Disney would have hoped, I'm assuming.
Thus far.
However, a lot of controversy has come out since the movie premiered. A lot of it from the main 3 cast of not so much Daisy Ridley, but more Oscar Isaac and John Boyega have really spoken out about the movie. And even J.J. Abrams, who this probably inspired us to talk about it, in response to the negative reviews, just said they're right about the negative reviews. And so everyone got thinking, what the hell? Like, why, you directed this movie and, you're slandering it alongside everybody else. So what the hell happened? And the conclusion is that Disney stepped in and basically changed a lot of the movie behind J.J. Abrams' back.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty much thank you to this Twitter user Marie who posted this.
You have got all the goss. You were delivering this to me as soon as it came out.
Jacob's face was just gobsmacked the entire time I was reading this. But it was a lot that Disney did. And Release the JJ Cut actually started trending on Twitter. And Release the Snyder Cut fans were like,
hold on, let's get one first and then we'll go to yours.
Yeah. So basically, this is there's literally 20 pictures and they're all 12-point writing. So I'm going to try and sum this up as quickly as I can and as best as I can. So basically, J.J. Abrams had this vision, and when he did The Force Awakens, Disney were very restrictive on what he could and couldn't do. So when he signed on for The Rise of Skywalker, he asked, can I have more control over what I do in the story? And Disney were like, yeah, sure, you can do whatever you want. But then, they kept going, Disney pretty much, started
to try and seize
because
back
the problem
that control.
is that J.J. Abrams is very good at bringing franchises back. And the reason that Disney wanted him is because Warner Brothers also wanted J.J. Abrams. So Disney wanted to keep him so that he wouldn't make Warner Brothers movies.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, long and short, 6 months, Disney wanted him to change the story, change everything.
Is this Force Awakens or is this Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker. Yep. So he's made his movies, got his cut, and for 6 months, Disney had down his throat saying, please change this, please change that, do whatever, yeah? Then I'm probably just gonna cut this out.
Of course.
Yeah. So basically, they had the cut of the scene, and then, long and short of it, the ending that will blow your mind was a part of this. So if you have not seen Rise of Skywalker, probably skip this part because I'm gonna go into spoilers here. So basically, the ending that was gonna blow our minds is that in the end, when Rey hears those voices before she rises up and takes down Palpatine. They were meant to be the older actors like Hayden, Ewan, and Samuel, and anyone that wasn't animated. So all the non-animated actors from the prequels and everything else were meant to be there in costume to talk to Rey and be with her as a force field around her as she fought Palpatine. what? Like that's a big thing.
That is, okay, you said this to me just before we started recording this, and I said to you, I don't know why the hell Disney said no to that. I mean, I haven't watched it a second time yet. I'm probably going to. I'll get around to it eventually. But I would have been in the next day going to see the movie again had those Force Ghosts been in there, just to be able to see them all back in live action again and in costume. I actually don't. I don't understand why Disney said no to that one.
It was something to do with China, apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, getting on pretty much. Moving on from that part, is that Disney demanded they shoot some scenes that would have things in it for merchandise. So They Fly Now is one of them, and is also JJ's least favorite scene. And in a November screening of a 2-hour 37 cut, which is longer than the 2-hour 22-minute one we got, he cringed, groaned, and laughed when the scene was on. So he hated the scene, which is the They Fly Now one. Yep. Mm-hmm. Basically, the original cut was 3 hours and 2 minutes, and they cut it back again. And then, over the period of 9 months, JJ started realizing that one of his ideas and the whole scenes were thrown out of the window and entirely altered by people who have no business meddling with the creatives. Basically, the long and short of it is that Disney basically stepped in and cut everything. JJ wanted to have Rose and be in more of an arc with Rey, and she was actually going to feature in the movie more, but they cut her out. Rey Solo was apparently going to be a thing. Apparently, before they were filming The Force Awakens, it took J.J. Abrams 9 months to convince to bring John Boyega onto the movie because they were already concerned that Rey was the female lead, and they didn't want it to be too risky by having a female and a black person.
Which is ridiculous in this day and age. Man. That's ridiculous. It was ridiculous 10 years ago. It's ridiculous now. The fact that they even thought of that.
Yeah, and they also cut, they wanted this movie to be fan service, but they, something that upset you is that when they Lightspeed skept, some of the planets they cut was Kashyyyk, Naboo, and Kamino. Yeah. They actually Lightspeed through there, and they cut that out.
Which sucks, man, because Kashyyyk, obviously the homeworld of Chewie, Naboo, obviously the homeworld of Padme, and Kamino, the cloning facility. That sucks, man. Those are some of my favorite planets from all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and one of the problems was that Rey and Rose were actually going to be good friends in this movie.
I'm not actually mad about that. I know
you
Rose.
don't. But they thought. But the thing is that they thought that was too risky too.
Yeah.
In the 3-hour cut, Finn actually explains to Rey what he was meant to explain, and in the 3-hour cut, Finn actually uses his Force powers with Yana on the ship.
Okay.
So there was also a bunch of scenes where Rey and Kylo separately went through quiet moments of reflection to deal with what they were going on. And, apparently the death scene of Kylo Ren actually was 4 minutes longer with more dialogue. And the kiss was a Disney choice as a fan service to fulfill both sides of the fandom.
Even though nobody wanted that, I don't think in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Actually, just going back to the Finn thing, how he's supposed to reveal his Force sensitive. So we haven't actually talked about that. But we talked about it in the review, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm. But I did feel like that was kind of left unattended to in the movie, because they made a big deal about it in the beginning, and then kind of towards the end it slowly went away. But it felt like something that was like you really needed to reveal what he said, because it just seemed extremely wasted. That one sucks that wasn't included in the movie.
Yeah. The Kylo and Rey scene was meant to be a lot longer and a lot more, meaningful. Yeah. And they weren't meant to kiss. And Disney just basically went behind J.J. Abrams' back and actually added that scene and reshot the whole thing. Not reshot, but re-edited the whole thing and did revoicing and everything. And the last thing was that they actually pushed for Finn and Poe to be gay together, and not JJ did, sorry. With Oscar Isaac, them and Finn and John Boyega, they actually wanted that one to happen, but Disney said no, as it was too risky. I mean, I'm not that I was against it. I wouldn't care, either way, if they did that or not.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
It just it's kind of just adding on to the fact that Disney
really just tried to seize back control.
They really just,
it's not a good look for big companies at all. It's really, really not.
The problem is Disney has too much power, and that's why they can get away with this stuff.
But it's the same thing with Warner Brothers and the Justice League and the Snyder Cut. It's not a good image that same thing with Suicide Squad as well. and Batman v Superman, like it's not, obviously that's all Warner Brothers, but it's not a good look that these big companies aren't giving them the directors the creative freedom that they need. You know what I mean? Like I can understand a big company wanting a certain vision for the overarching story, but at the end of the day, you can't tell the director all these things and change all these things with or without their knowledge. You know.
I want to say something, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but I feel like Star Wars is the most controversial movie franchise of all time.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I think it's
up
fan
there
base.
with the fan base is the most divided, I feel like, too. But, like, you know, you see with, like, Marvel, another Disney-owned property, they give, like, Kevin Feige, like, now that he's got this new role, they really give him creative freedom to do whatever he wants. Yeah. Like, imagine if they brought a transgender character into Star Wars. That would I feel like that wouldn't be wouldn't be received as well at all.
No, I don't think so. From the fans or you
both. Okay, like either way. Like I feel like Disney just don't, you know, want
No, I completely agree with you. It's just I agree. I think it's just hard when you don't give the directors or the creators creative freedom. It sucks, and you can see Marvel have been doing that, and it's weird because Marvel is Disney, but let's be honest, Big Kev runs Marvel.
Yeah,
he's the big man down there.
He does now, yeah.
He's the big man down there. So, like, it shows that you give at least someone that with a wealth of knowledge of the universe as well, creative freedom, good things will happen. So I don't know, man.
I felt really bad for J.J. Abrams because he did come out and say like he was devastated by how the movie turned out, especially because of how different his cut was. And his cut does exist. Yep. However, unless it gets leaked, it's not going to be.
And I don't think it's going to be leaked anytime soon, because I think if it does get leaked, people are going to know it's J.J. So it's probably not going to do great for his directing career
he'll
in
be
the future.
jailed, man. He'll be jailed.
Yeah.
Do you know who I feel bad for?
Yeah.
Well, Anakin's.
Hayden Christensen?
Yeah, I feel so bad for him. He copped it for so long. Yeah. They fly him back from Canada, put him in the movie and everything, and then they cut him out. Yeah. How bad
that sucks,
do you feel for him? Like, you know, I thought he was a good... I know you disagree, but I thought he was a good Anakin. I thought he did well and like as an actor. And he got ridiculed for years, only to just, you know...
Look, I mean, as much as I don't enjoy his performance as much as you do, I would have loved to see him in the movie. Like, it would have been awesome just to see him as a Force Ghost.
I'm just disappointed to see. Like, we are formally calling Disney out because it's just so disappointing that all these movies are being ruined by, like, corporate decisions of people who don't really understand the franchise.
It's not even like... It's corporate decisions that's like the Kiss... It just really, I mean, I don't think that we're biased in saying this. It just really wasn't needed or wanted.
No.
Them being scared to have Boyega and Ridley as the two main characters, stupid. I feel like these things. It's not even like they're something that would really, really divide the fans. It's just
I think
ridiculous.
Without getting too political. Yeah. That's also you got to think. You know, Disney has a lot of ties. A lot of these big companies have ties to China, and China are very, you know, particular about how they want things. And, you know, if something like, you know, when the whole NBA scandal, if you guys don't know, you know, one of the NBA, like, basketball owners tweeted something controversial about China, and then China refused to show their games on TV because it was against the way of China. Yeah. You know, and I feel like Disney, who have like a lot of money invested in China,
that's a very fair point. That's a very fair point too. I mean, I think it probably did play a big role.
Yeah, and it's not right, but you know, we won't get into it obviously because I don't want to. We don't do politics, but you know, it's interesting that Disney is still like, you know, you don't hear about this shit, but it just kind of happens and it kind of comes to light. Yeah. And this was a leak that was from Reddit. That's where the original post came from about this. But you know, it's sad because Star Wars was such a huge property, but arguably was not, you know, it didn't really live up at all, and it's sad to see.
Well, at least this, I mean, from a lot of people's opinions, this trilogy didn't live up to its potential.
No.
I still enjoyed the last movie, but could have been a lot better, obviously. Could have been a lot better.
Yeah. But yeah, is that it for the episode?
I think so.
Yeah. What an interesting way to start the year. We have to come in with a bang.
And an awesome first episode of 2020.
Very, very exciting. But yeah, if you guys want to check us out on our other social medias, TRSM Podcast at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Buzzsprout, YouTube. Sorry, I'm just coughing. I'm choking on my spit.
SoundCloud, Spotify, anything really.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, iTunes. Yeah. But yeah, this has been it for episode 33. I've been Sam, that's been Jacob, and we've been the Regular Sized Men. We hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you guys next time for episode 34.
Thank you very much, guys.